DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you need a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is, we are on, I believe this is our final piece to this series. This has been a marathon series, part 7 of the common entrepreneur mistakes that entrepreneurs are making. If you plan on being an entrepreneur, you should be listening to catch the mistakes that you might make, or you probably will make. Before we get into that, though, let me remind everybody I send out a text message every day, guaranteed to have you focused, sharp, and on point. It's called the Daily Motivation. I send out one every week called the Monday Motivation. Does the same thing for your week. You can get into my text community for free by texting me on my number 305-384-6894. Again, if you don't get an immediate response, that means we still have not fixed our technical difficulties with the text line, but we will get it fixed. That's why I keep talking about the number. Even though we have these technical difficulties, we will get it fixed. So just text me at that number and it'll be back up when it's up. Secondly, Work on Your Game University. That is the only place I do any coaching. Any of you want to work with me directly, you want to be coached by me, there is only one way to do it. The way that you do that is by joining Work on Your Game University. And the way that you get into the university is you have to get on a call with us first. We don't let anybody just join the university. We got to actually know who you are, talk to you, and see where you're at. See where you're at, see where you want to go, see what you feel like might be in your way. And if we feel like you'd be a good fit for what we're doing, and we believe we can actually help you, we'll tell you that. We'll tell you how it works, and we'll tell you where we go from there. But you can get on the call with us. It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to cost you some time and attention because you do have to hop on the call and talk to us. And you do that by going to workonyourgameuniversity.com. On that page, you will see everything that the university is about, what we're doing, how it works. You can read and hear some stories of people who have worked with us in the past, so you know that we have some a track record. We got some social proof there. Again, that's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can schedule a call right there from that page. With that out the way, let's get into this. We're picking up on point 19. This is the 21 common entrepreneurial mistakes. Point number 19 is weak branding. Weak branding. First of all, what's branding? Branding is the idea and the image that you and your business have in the mind of the people who have come across your business. When no one knows you, you have no brand in their mind. So if someone has no idea that you exist, then to them, in their world, you don't have a brand. Now, when someone knows that you exist and they know everything about you and they bought everything that you sold and they read everything you write and listen to everything you put out, in their minds, you do have a brand. And whatever the brand is you have in their mind is based on the image that they have of you or whatever it is that they're getting from you. So understand that your brand is whatever it is that you say, of course, about you. And that's where your brand starts. I have an episode of my show where I talked about that your brand begins with what you say about yourself. Let me pull up that episode so all of you know where that is. That was episode number 779. Branding starts with what you say about you. You can listen to any episode in the history of the show by going to DreAllDay.com and then go to the blog page and then put a slash and then you can pick your number. So DreAllDay.com/blog/ then the number, that's episode 779. It'll be linked down below in the description to this episode as well. So you can steer people in the right direction as to how they see you in their minds based on what you say. You can't completely control what they're going to see from you because, again, you may be thinking you're emphasizing one thing, but they're only noticing something else. Like my background is in basketball. So even though I talk mostly entrepreneurship these days, there are people who still are in my world who may look at me more from the basketball angle just because that's what matters the most to them for whatever reason. That's part of my brand as well. So again, you can steer them in the direction you want them to go, but you don't have complete control over how another person sees you because you can't control another person's mind. So your branding is about making sure that you have carved out some space in another person's mind. And the only things that they can envision about you or have an image about of you is what you put out. So if you don't want something to be part of someone's vision of you, don't put it out. If you don't want someone to associate you with a certain thing, don't say it or do it. But if you want to be associated with a certain thing, you need to make sure they can see it and they can hear it and they can experience it so that connects with you. Does that make sense? So whatever you want your brand to be, make sure you are putting that out there consistently enough that when people do come across you, they keep noticing that thing, whatever it is, you emphasize it. And eventually that will take place in their minds. So this is the way that people get ideas in their minds, by hearing things over and over and over and over again. Most people don't just generally accept and believe everything that they come across the first time or the only time. Sometimes we have to hear things more than once. This is why in the marketing world, you're told that sometimes people don't buy or even notice an advertisement or a marketing message until the 7th or the 10th or the 20th time they've been exposed to it. Depending on who you ask, you may get different numbers, but the general idea is people have to be exposed to something multiple times before their brain even registers it, let alone do they accept it and consciously understand that they're even seeing something. So that's why I'm giving you all of that to help you understand that if your branding is weak, that can mean many different things. There are many reasons why your brand may be weak. It's not just about do you have a website or a social media platform. So when nobody knows you, there is no brand. Now, when people do know who you are, they have a brand in their heads, and hopefully that brand is something that you want it to be. All right, you don't want people to be thinking one thing about you when you don't want people to have one idea in their mind about you when your goal is for them to have a completely different idea. You understand? So people can have an idea about you. Let's say, for example, if there's a Republican running for some governmental position, some political position, the Democrats may have an idea that he has a brand in the mind of the Democratic voters, but the brand is something negative because they don't like that Republican, right? And vice versa with the Democrat politician and the Republican voters. So sometimes the brand that people have of you in their mind is something that you actually don't want them to have. But again, you don't have complete control over that. You can only steer it in a certain direction. So what do you want your brand to be? That's the question you have to answer. And your materials, the stuff you put out there, should be a reflection of that answer. You need to be conscious and intentional about putting that image, whatever it may be, into the minds of the people whom you wish to influence. You have to get it into their heads. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I do. And you got to hammer that message. You got to give it to them over and over again. So think of the big companies that you probably spend money with, like Amazon, Apple, Nike, Google, companies like that. They have very strong brand presence in damn near everybody's mind, because I use them as examples because everybody knows who they are. Right? You have a clear idea of what they're about and what exactly they do and what they could do for you and why it matters. So when I say Amazon, if you thought about it for a second, you're thinking like buying packages, no 2-day shipping, Amazon Prime, no anything you need, any kind of household item you can need, or a book or some type of gadget or something like that. You can probably find it on Amazon. That may be the first place that you look. Apple, what do they represent? Well, if you need a computer or a phone or a laptop, or I said like computer, tablet, or laptop, then you might go to Apple. They may be the first place that you look. Many people do. Apple holds a large percentage of the market in that space. Nike, we know they make athletic products. So if you're going to do any kind of exercising or working out, or you just need a pair of sneakers to walk around in, you're probably going to go to Nike. Google, they are the search engine place. They do internet stuff and all kinds of stuff you can do on the internet. Google is one of the foundational places for that. Again, it's just the brand that we all have. That's the image we have of these companies in their minds. Now, do they do other things besides what I mentioned? Yes, they do. But the general idea that most of us have about these companies is exactly what they want us to have in their minds. They have very strong brand presence. You know what they do and what it could do for you, or if it doesn't do anything for you. You got to be the same, you, with the people that you want to serve. Yeah, you don't have to be as famous as these companies. And it'll probably be very difficult for you to do that without an extreme, not extreme, that's not the right word, but a very large, let's say, marketing output in terms of resource output in terms of marketing, meaning the money that you put behind your marketing, because these companies spend a lot of money on marketing. You may not even consciously think about it, but these companies spend millions of dollars every day on marketing. All those companies that I just mentioned, they are not just sitting around watching customers walk in and it's just happening. It's not organic. Let's just put it that way. So you would need a big output to get to their level, but you can copy the idea of what they're doing by making sure that you're hammering a specific message and you're doing it over and over again, which is what they do. So there are people out there who you want to serve who are not even aware that you exist. Then to them, your brand is weak. Your job is to get those people who you want to serve to know you. Now, the people who you don't want to serve, you don't need to get them to know you. So you don't need to use your resources on them, but you do need to use your resources to get in front of the people who you want to know about you, because this is your business. All right, this is your marketing task. Point number 20. Today's topic, once again, we are on part 7 of the 21 common entrepreneurial mistakes. Number 20, you have no continuous learning process. You are not continually investing in yourself in terms of learning. And this means attention and focus. You're not putting attention and focus into continually making yourself a smarter individual. I told you this in episode number 2647, where I talked about why you are who you are. That what you continuously pour into your brain and into your studying plays a big role in who you are personally and who you are becoming, if anything. You're pouring nothing into your brain, you're becoming nothing. All right? Because remember in life that there is no There is no stagnation, really. When people say that they feel stagnant, that really means you're going backwards, because there's no such thing as neutral. You're either moving forward or you're moving backward. You're getting better or you're getting worse. You're building or destroying. All right? There's no standing still in life, because the world is always moving, and your what do they call that thing? I always forget this. The little thing with the sand in it, where there's sand at the top and it goes down to the bottom. I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but any of you knows what I'm talking about. You can envision it. Your time is always ticking. Let's just put it that way. Your time is always ticking. So that means you can't be neutral, because you're not the same person this minute that you were 1 minute ago. You either got better or you got worse, depending on what you're doing. So you must invest in yourself, so you're continually getting better with respect to the fact that time is moving forward, whether you get better or not. Many entrepreneurs simply don't do any study of anything, let alone the very area in which you are doing business. This is a mistake. If you're an entrepreneur and you are not doing any study of the area in which you're doing business, you are hurting your business. Your business is getting worse by the day, because you're not investing in getting better, but time is moving forward. And you have competitors who are investing in getting better, and they are slowly positioning themselves to defeat you. And when I say defeat you, that means they're going to take away the customers that either are already yours or would have been yours, or customers that would have left them and came to you if you had actually gotten better, but instead they're going to stay with them because you haven't done the work to get better, and they're getting better. This is costing you money, even though you don't even realize it's costing you money. If you were to read 20 books on any particular subject, you will know more than 98% of the living population on that subject. Let me say this again. If you were to read 20 books on any particular subject, you will know more than 98% of the population on that subject, including the people who do that thing for a living. So if I was to go get 20 books on plumbing and I read all 20, I would know more about plumbing than 98% of the population, including the plumbers. Because I can guarantee you that most plumbers have not read 20 books on plumbing. Most plumbers have not read 2 books on plumbing, let alone 20. And understand, the books you read, you only have to agree with what the people talk about. Let's say something like plumbing. I'm not sure there are any things you can disagree on in a general sense. But on certain topics, like social topics, let's say you read 20 books about gender and sex. Right? We know that's a topic that people are widely divided on these days. If you read 20 books on the subject, you would know more than most people on that topic. Even if half the books come to one conclusion, the other half comes to the exact opposite conclusion, you would still know more than 98% of people just because you read the books. All right, so the books you read don't have to be things that necessarily align with your worldview. Just reading them, period, will put you in a position to know more than most people. This is a simple hack that anyone can do, but the challenge is it requires discipline and an investment of attention and focus. And most people don't have the discipline to make that investment. But this is why I'm telling you it's a common entrepreneurial mistake, because people don't do this. This is very simple to do. It's fully accessible by everybody who's listening to me right now. You have a phone and or a computer, and you have access to the internet, and all of those things cost more than a book. All right, so no, I don't want to hear anybody telling me shit about you can't go get a book. I haven't heard that one in a while, but just in case any of you was thinking it, don't even think about thinking it. Don't even think about thinking that thought. Okay. People are generally just lazy. People just lazy. Many entrepreneurs never go to conferences or events that are centered on the actual industry that they're working in. If you're in a certain industry, you need to be going to the events that are happening in that industry. Why? Number one, there are people who are going to be speaking on the stage of that event that maybe you don't know about, that you should know about. Something may get said from that stage that you need to hear that you don't know right now. There are people in the audience at that event who you need to meet, who right now you don't know and they don't know you. If you're in a space, whatever space you're in, you need to be going to where it's at in that space. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much of a lone wolf solo rider type of individual you are. You can still be that. You can still be that. You don't have to be a life of the party individual, but you still need to know what's going on. If you're not connected to what's going on in your space, you are missing out, because there's information that would be valuable to you that could help you do even better in your business if you had it. There are people who could help you do better in your business if you knew them, but you're not connected to them, so they can't help you. Last time you had a challenge in your business, did you have 3 people you could call who could help solve that problem, or who at least point you in the direction of solving that problem? Or were you relegated to just going to Google and hoping you could figure it out, or going to Chat GPT and hoping you could figure it out? If you're in this situation, you are playing the game incorrectly. For lack of a better term, let me just say it that way. You're playing the game incorrectly. When you face a challenge in business, folks, you shouldn't need to just go to Google. Now, maybe if it's a simple enough question that Google can answer it, but if it's a more complex situation, you should be able to call a person or text a person and say, yo, I'm dealing with this issue in my business. You ever dealt with this? Or if you did, how'd you do it? Or do you know anyone who could possibly have an answer to this? And if you know enough people, a person will be able to point you in the right direction, which will probably give you a more detailed, a more specific, more specifically targeted to your situation answer than Google can give you. All right, this is why you got to have relationships, people. This has nothing to do with, again, you don't have to have it ain't a group project. Your business doesn't have to be a group project. You can still be you doing your thing, but you got to know people. You got to be out there, folks. And this is one of the investments that you make into your business. Many entrepreneurs never hire an expert or a coach or a consultant on the business that you're in. Like, how are you in a business? You never hired someone who can help you get better at that business. That doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense whatsoever. You're in a business, you got to be investing in yourself. You want to get better. I told you there are 5 forms of investment in episode 609. Time, money, attention, energy, focus. You got to put all 5 in. If you're not doing any studying or continuing education in your business, you are hurting your business, or whether you know it or not. But now you know it because I just told you. Point number 21. Last one. Today's topic, again, we are on part 7 of 7, the 21 common entrepreneurial mistakes. Number 21, weak leadership at the top. You got a weak leader at the top. And entrepreneur, business owner, I'm talking about you, if you didn't catch this. What is leadership about? You ask 20 people, what's leadership? You probably get 20 different answers. You might get a couple people who just read you the definition out the dictionary. But besides them, you're going to get 20 different answers. So here's the 21st answer. I'm going to give you another answer. It is about the way that you inspire and encourage others through your own energy and efforts to be more, do more, perform more, and produce more. Let me say it again. How I'm defining leadership. It is about the way you inspire and encourage others through your own energy and your own efforts to be more, do more, perform more, and produce more. The way that you show up influences other people on how they should show up. When they see you showing up, they'll show up. When they see you not showing up, they won't show up. Simple as that. If your leadership is weak, your energy and consistency are off, then that's exactly what you will have in your organization. You're going to have people who are showing up weak. Their consistency will be off. They won't be doing what they're supposed to be doing. They won't follow through on their task. Why? Because their leader is doing that, and they are a reflection of the leader. Other people's energy will reflect the energy of the leader. And if you're the head of your organization, you are the leader by default because everybody's looking at you, especially if you're the check writer. People are going to show up based on the way that you set the standard for them to show up. They're going to be held accountable to the standard to which you hold yourself accountable. Because if you're not holding yourself accountable for stuff, you probably won't hold anybody else accountable for stuff. Usually that's how it works. It flows from the top down. So the way that you show up influences them. And when you're weak, they're weak. And if you're being weak with yourself in terms of how you are, in terms of your consistency, in terms of your follow through, in terms of your commitment, in terms of your energy, all of that stuff, then your organization will be a reflection of that. If it's just you by yourself, then you had no choice. If you got other people, then it's definitely going to happen. If you want to be an entrepreneur, excuse me, or you are already an entrepreneur, you need to grow into being a leader. You need to grow into being a leader if you are not one already. You understand that this plays a big role in the type of people that are attracted to you. Not only your staff, but also your customers and your clients. All right? What kind of people do you want to work with? You want to work with high-level people who show up consistently, who listen to what they're being told, who follow through on the information that they're given, who actually do the tasks that are handed to them. You want to work with people like that? You want your clients to be like that? You're in any type of service-based business. If you're a coach or consultant, do you want your coaching clients to actually do the tasks that you give them? If you say, hey, I got these 5 things for you to do before the next time we talk, do you want them to actually do it? Okay, then you got to be that type of person because you're only going to attract who you are. So if you're the type of person who doesn't follow through, you're going to have a bunch of clients who don't follow through. And the problem with that is, even though they're going to pay you, right, but then not follow through, is that you're not going to have any success stories. It's going to be harder to get the next client because you don't have any success stories from the last client. Right? And then you're going to have problems. And you're going to have a bunch of people who you work with who have no results. That's going to make you look bad because you attracted these people because you're that type of person and you're going to bring in exactly who you are. You attract what you are. Okay. Like creates like. Like attracts like. Whatever energy you're putting out, those are the type of people you're going to bring into your world. So if you don't like the type of people who are coming around you right now in this season of your life, instead of looking at them, first of all, go in the mirror and look at you. Check yourself first. Because there's something that you are doing or not doing that is attracting these people to thinking that they are on the same wavelength as you. And if you don't want that, then you need to change you first because that's the only thing you actually control. You don't control other people, but you do control yourself. So this plays a big role in how, again, people will respond to you. And even if they come into your world, how they respond to whatever it is that you're offering them, because they're going to notice how you respond. If you're challenging yourself and respond to it, then they will respond when you challenge them. But if you don't challenge to your own, you don't respond to your own challenges, they won't respond to your challenges. This is just how it works. Again, this is your staff, your clients, your customers, everybody who you deal with. Your energy is telling everybody else how they should show up. You are giving them cues without telling them you're giving them cues. With that said, let's recap these last 3 points. 21, common entrepreneurial mistakes. We're on the last 3. Number 19, weak branding. Branding is simply the idea that other people have of you, the image they have of you in their mind. People who you want to serve, you need to have a strong brand in their mind, because these are the people who you want to influence and move to take action and take the next step, whatever that may be, with you. So you need to drive home a message consistently to them so that they know what you're about and how they should view you, which should be something that is directed towards getting them to move to the next step with you, whatever that may be. Number 2, you're not continuously learning. If you're not growing, you're dying. You're either getting better, you're getting worse, you are building or destroying. There is no neutral, folks. You read 20 books on any subject, you know more than 98% of the population on that subject, even the people who do that thing for a living. Go do it and tell me I'm lying. Number 21, weak leadership at the top. That is you. Leadership, definition I'm going to give, again, everybody has a different one. It's about the way you inspire and encourage others through your own energy and efforts to be more, do more, perform more, and produce more. In other words, the way that you show up determines how everybody else around you is going to show up. So if you don't like the way people are showing up around you right now, first thing you do is not to check them. The first thing you do is to check you. And when you're in check, then they will fall in line. Doesn't mean you don't say anything to them. Now you go check them, but make sure that your house is in order before you go checking on anybody else's. If you get what I'm saying. That said, folks, you got it. 21 common mistakes entrepreneurs make. You want to avoid these mistakes. You want to fix any of these mistakes. And maybe you haven't even gotten into entrepreneurship yet, but you want to make sure you hit the ground running the right way and don't have to go through the trial and error that people like myself had to go through to learn about these mistakes. Okay. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can see everything that we're doing in our university, and that is the only way to work with me directly. You can schedule a time to get on a call with us. There's only one way to get into the university. It is by getting on a call. So go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link is down below in the description, or you can just remember it, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Just type it out into your browser. You get on a call with us. We see that you're a fit, and we believe we can help you. We'll tell you how it works from there. Work on your game. Dre, all